This is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Today's topic, we're going to be continuing to discuss long run tips and tricks to help you get to the next level in your chosen event. And the reason why I really continue to focus on faster paced long runs is because you want to make sure that you are conserving what you have far less of, which is carbohydrate storage. When you're in a middle to long distance race, whether that's on the track or most oftentimes on the roads, in terms of being able to sustain paces over long periods of time, you have to be able to call upon what you have much more of, and that's fat storage. And if you learn to teach the body to race at using fat storage rather than using up that vital carbohydrate storage that we all need in order to really pick up the pace at the latter stages of the race, you're going to set yourself up for success, because what you don't want to do is run out of glycogen storage, especially in a longer race like a 10K out to the marathon, and not be able to pick up the pace rather than slowing down. You want to make sure that you're picking up pace and maintaining that pace at the latter stages of a race. It's very painful, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced, as well as myself over the years, running out of glycogen storage. It's not a fun experience whatsoever. So you have to start varying up the paces of your long runs, okay? You do not want to just run long, slow, easy every single weekend. And one of Malachi, one of my subscribers, had left me a message saying, "Man, I thought you're supposed to run long, slow, and easy. This faster paced long run mindset wasn't really what I was thinking of." And this is normal for a lot of athletes. A lot of athletes spend the majority of their time doing those long runs, long, slow, and easy, just about every single weekend. Not all athletes, but I think, and definitely this was a mistake that even I was making as well. I was a 2:43 marathoner back in 2007, but I had a goal of breaking 2 hours and 22 minutes. Back then, it was a Olympic Trials B standard, USA Track and Field Olympic Trials B standard time of 2 hours and 22 minutes was the goal time I had in mind. But it is a massive jump in ability to go from running a marathon at 6:14 mile pace to 5 minutes and 25 second per mile pace. So I knew I had to start changing up how I was conducting these long runs. I knew that running 20 to 32 kilometers to 35 kilometers or longer during my long runs at, say, 6 minute and 30 second to 7 minute mile pace was not going to get me to a point where I was able to sustain under 5 minutes and 25 seconds per mile pace, or around, I think that's around 3 minutes and 22 seconds per kilometer. So in terms of long run tips and tricks, the things I want to share with you all is to just get beyond just running long, slow, and easy every single weekend. Sebastian Coe said it best. He said, "I've always believed that long, slow distance running makes for great long, slow distance runners." So running fast over long periods of time is definitely an art form. It's not going to be easy. You have to be patient with yourself. We all, regardless of our physiological capabilities, do not just jump into doing long runs at, say, under 6 minute mile pace for 32 kilometers or 35 kilometers or longer. I think and I was also asked this recently, the distance of your long run. How far should you really go in order to get the best results? I think if you're training for a 10K out to a marathon distance, especially for the longer distances, half marathon to the marathon, I think there's a point of diminished return where going further, much further than even the marathon distance, doesn't always get you the best results. Like I went out as far as 30 miles for my long run. I did a 30 miler prior to the 2011 monumental Indianapolis Marathon in 2011, thinking that maybe going further would help me run under 2 hours and 19 minutes, which even today is the Olympic Trials A standard time that most Americans need in order to qualify for the Olympic Trials. It didn't work out. I went out, I tried, thinking that going out 30 miles for my long runs would make me stronger over the marathon distance. I ended up running 2:26:42 at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon. Now, I made a major mistake in that race as well, which I want to share definitely with you all. Is definitely, if you're going to eat breakfast before your marathon, make sure that you give yourself around 3 hours. So eat breakfast if the race starts at 8, eat breakfast at 5 a.m. Make sure that you have plenty of time for your body to digest that food well in advance of the start of the race. I ate probably about an hour and a half prior to, hour and a half to 2 hours prior to the start of the race, and I had to jump in a porta-john while I was running with the leaders of that race. I ran 2:26:42, probably would have ran 2 hours and 21 minutes to 2 hours and 23 minutes if I would not have made that mistake. So make sure that you are eating your breakfast about 3 hours prior to the start of your marathon. Again, it's very important that, again, you're paying attention to the little details, so you don't make the mistakes so you don't have to make that particular mistake. It's very easy to lose several seconds to several minutes in a marathon if you have to jump in a porta-john, or if you have to stop in order to go to the restroom. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. Long runs, in terms of your long runs, these especially varied pace long runs where you're not just running long and slow, but you're running a specific segment of your long runs at faster paces, at paces that are even much faster than goal race pace. Example of that was when I was training for leading up to breaking 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon. I would run, say, for example, a 20 miler where I would run the first 5 miles easy, then I would run 4 miles at about 10 seconds slower than goal race pace. Then I would run 1 mile easy, nice easy jog, totally relaxed. Then I would drop a sub 5 minute mile. And then I would go into 4 miles at around 20 seconds slower than goal marathon race pace. And then I would run easy for like 2 or 3 miles, and then run the last few miles of that long run at goal race pace or close to goal race pace. So that's just an example of varying up, several types of intensities during that long run. Always the following week, I would always jog 9 to 10 minute mile pace for that following week's long run. So it's very important that you're also paying attention to your recovery. You want to make sure that you give yourself, especially after the harder pace long runs, that you give yourself a minimum of 2 days of easy jogging, so that when you attack that next hard anaerobic workout, whether it's a repeat miles on the track or repeat kilometers on the track or on the roads, or you're doing a hard fartlek workout where maybe you're doing 20 minutes of hard pace running followed by 20 minutes of easy jogging, you want to make sure that you're recovering from those hard anaerobic workouts. So it's very important that you jog and you get beyond thinking about what pace you're running at or what mile splits or kilometer splits you're hitting on those easy days. It really does not matter, because the hard anaerobic workouts you're going to be doing, whether those are repeat hill repetitions, when I was training for the marathon, I would always look for a 200 to 300 meter hill and do repeats up that hill, going just about all out on the way up and either walking or jogging on the way down and doing repetitions of that. So it's very challenging, it's very difficult to do those hard anaerobic workouts when you're running at such high speeds that you cannot clear the lactic acid faster than it's building up. And those types of workouts, those VO2 max workouts, is what's going to make you very strong on top of these long runs, as well as the easy jog recovery runs. When it comes down to the time where you start tapering down, you do a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper. That's what I teach in all my courses and training plans. Make sure that you focus on how you're setting up your training. Get beyond just running high mileage, because high mileage alone is not a guarantee that you're going to run a personal best over middle to long distance events. It's how you set up that training. It's what you do off the track and off the roads when you're done doing those workouts. Are you getting proper rest? Are you getting a minimum of 8 hours of sleep per night? When I was at my highest volume and training as high, as intense as I was, I needed at least an 8-hour night of sleep, preferably around 10 hours. If you are staying up late at night, if you're not drinking prior to and paying attention to your nutrition prior to and after your workouts, all of these things will really pay you back in the long run, as long as you're paying attention to those details, those fundamentals and strategies that the best middle to long distance runners around the world focus on. You know, we're not just interested in success. We are 100% white hot, focused in on what we want to do. And so there's a massive difference between being interested and being fully committed. And a lot of athletes and a lot of people in general don't always fully understand what 100% commitment is. It's that tenacity that I'm going to do whatever it takes, no matter how long I have to work. I'm not going to lose heart and lose motivation when I have setbacks and when I have challenges along the way. I'm going to understand that in order to succeed at whatever I want to do, I have to understand that yes, there are going to be challenges. Yes, there are going to be times where I'm going to have piss poor workouts, bad races, and I'm going to start studying what it is that caused me to have that bad workout, but I'm not going to give a bad race or a bad workout too much of my time. This is what I've noticed from the best middle to long distance runners I've trained with over the years. Athletes that could break a 4-minute mile, that could go under an hour and 2 minutes for the half marathon, that could go under 2 hours and 10 minutes for the marathon. These great athletes taught me the importance of making sure that you still enjoy what you're doing. Make sure that you keep the fun in your preparation, and don't second guess yourself and start to doubt yourself when you don't perform well quickly enough. Know that what you're trying to do, more than likely what you're trying to do, is something very, very difficult, and it's going to take time. And long runs, and how you set up these long runs, and how you conduct yourself and conduct your training, and how you think during your training and after your training, that is going to dictate how successful you are at the middle to long distance events. So make sure that you stay motivated. Stay patient with yourself. Reach out to me anytime. Leave me comments below these videos. You all know already that I always answer, reach out and do the very best that I can to reach out to you all if you have a question or concern. If you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. There are a lot of resources on RunDreamAchieve.com. I have a private one-on-one private community, membership community. If you are interested in having me as your coach or as a mentor to you with your training, we have running courses and training plans as well. So definitely check that out. There's obviously a lot of free content here on the RunDreamAchieve YouTube channel as well. So I wish you all the best in your training. Make sure that, again, you don't run long, slow, and easy every single weekend. A harder long run followed the following week by an easy recovery run. Forget pace, forget even wearing a watch on that particular long run. If you know the distance, especially if you know the distance of your course. If you don't, then wear a Garmin, but just don't focus on what mile splits you're hitting or what kilometer splits you're hitting on those easy recovery long runs. Focus on recovery, making sure that you're jogging on those particular days, and then the following week start mixing up the paces of those long runs. So if there's any other questions or concerns you have about long runs as well, leave me a comment below and I will definitely reach back out to you. I wish you all the best, continued success in your training, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.